All right, let's share the screen. All right, so welcome to our meeting. We'll get started about some information about the senior trip so you kind of know what you've signed up for or what you might be signing up for. Um, so about the trip is on Tuesday, April 9th until Saturday, April 13th. It's 5 days, 4 nights. The final cost of the trip is going to be $1,569. All payments are going to be made online to the travel agent. In the past, we used to take payments directly at school. Travel agent has offered this service and it makes it a lot easier. Parents can pay by credit card if they like. So that's the way we go from now. Let's see. Our plan. The plan is that in March, we're going to be having a mandatory parent meeting. Typically, it was at that meeting that we kind of covered all of the details of the trip. In the past, it didn't make 100% sense that we would cover all these details after parents are already paid. So we figured we might offer that information ahead of the trip, answer questions that people have. And then we'll also have that March mandatory meeting where you can meet the kids' chaperone and all that other fun stuff. April 8th, the night before the trip, we have our luggage night. Kids bring in their not their carry-on, their checked luggage. We go through that, make sure they have everything they need, and then we head out on April 9th and we meet at the school early. And when we say early, we meet like 1 to 2 a.m. early. It's a long first day, but it gives them a full day at Disney. Take a bus up to Newark. That is the airport that we fly out of. We take our flight to Orlando and our trip begins. A typical day on the trip, students wake up at 8 a.m. and they're out of their rooms by 9 a.m. We collect their hotel key from them and then we give them their park pass. And never at any time do they have their park pass and their room key. It's one or the other. So from 9 a.m. till about 4 p.m., students are out in the parks. Chaperones are out as well. This past year, Disney had in COVID rules that you had to stay at a particular park until 2 p.m. and then you can hop from park to park. They are doing away with that for 2024, so the kids will be able to start at whatever park they would like. From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., we have some of the chaperones are back at the resort, so they can check back in, go into their hotel room, take a nap, take a shower, relax for a little bit. That is optional if they want to stay in the parks. There's kids that do that as well. From 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., everyone is back out of their hotel rooms and into the park, and they don't have to come back until the parks close, and we have an 11 p.m. curfew. The lodging that we stay at is the All-Star Resort usually. We're staying at the sports resort. In the past, we've stayed at music and other ones, but we're looking at staying at sports again this year. Students say 4 to a room, boys with boys, girls with girls, no co-ed rooms. We are staying in newly renovated rooms. They kind of look like the picture I have up on the screen. There's a pull-down bed that's the one that's closest on the screen, gives the kids a little bit more room if they want, but for the most part, that stays down. Parents usually ask and kids ask, how are they getting from park to park? Disney provides shuttle service and the kids take that to go from whatever park they want and they don't need to take an Uber. The shuttle is completely free. It runs well before the parks open till well after they close. When you're planning meals, there's multiple options. Students usually make group reservations for dinners if they want to do something fancier. There's restaurants that can just show up at or walk up to a restaurant. And then there's even kids that just bring snacks with them in their suitcase so they have something to tide them over so that way they don't have to spend so much money on meals. When we went this past year, the class of 2023 had purchased a couple meal vouchers. 2 of them were for each kid. And I'm gonna back up a little bit here. The meal vouchers that they had enable the kids to go to different locations and they were good for a meal. The meal includes the main meal itself, a drink, and a dessert. We're adding something onto ours. The kids will get those 2 of those, but we're also putting it when you go to pay for your Disney trip. you can add those on. They only cost $21 each, and they're redeemable for about $25 worth of food or more. When we used them, the kids were surprised that the people at Disney were really good about those meal vouchers. Whereas if they went up to pay for their meal and they had a meal and they had a drink and they didn't have a dessert, the person that was at the register would send them back and say, you need to go get a dessert. You need to make sure it's almost as if they want you to get more than your money's worth. So this is optional. We recommend that kids might want to get a few of these. We surveyed the class of 2023, and some of the kids were surprised that they didn't have all of their meals paid for. They were under the impression that Disney had like a complimentary breakfast, which they do not. So we were able to get the travel agent to sell us meal vouchers. They're good at over 70 restaurants that are on the property. I have a breakdown of how many are at each of the places. And when they're there, they're great. We used them a couple times. And if they're selling them for $21, you get more than your money's worth. And we're really going to be pushing those. Fundraising. I've got a few questions about fundraising. There's a bunch of students that have already fundraised money and they have it in their student account and they want to start applying that to Disney. What I'm going to be doing is sending out a form for all those parents that have a student account that they have fundraised money, and they're going to be able to use that money for the October 15th payment. We want to see how much of the money they want to pull out. They might want to save some of it for senior dues or for senior prom or for another activity. But we're going to take whatever money they want, and it's going to be a one lump sum over to the travel agent, and that will be credited to their Disney account. I'm going to be doing another one of those in November because in November we're running our designer bag bingo fundraiser, and we have kids that are raising a lot of money for that. So that payment will be going towards the November payment. If you haven't done any fundraising, we recommend that you do. We have the November 3rd designer bag bingo. That's probably the best way to fundraise money. We're selling tickets for $35 each to attend. If you sell one of those tickets, $30 of the 35 goes directly back to the students. So we already have a couple seniors. I was checking the list earlier. We had one student who sold 10 tickets. Another one sold 12 tickets. So those students, by selling those tickets, have already fundraised $300 and $360 towards Disney. There's going to be a couple other fundraisers run by other classes that is also eligible for our students, the seniors. Phillies tickets, and some of I think the freshman class was talking about some other types of fundraisers. As that stuff comes up, we're going to put that over on our website. And if I switch over, everybody should be able to see me here. This is the Bensalem High School website. If you go to activities in class of 2024, you'll find our website, which is right over here. We have some of the different events that are coming up. And if you want to find out more information about fundraising, there's a page right over here about all information about it and types of fundraising there are. And if you're looking to get those designer bag bingo tickets, all the information is right below here, including how you can go to the Facebook page and put your order in online. But back to Disney. Go back one more. There we go. Medical needs. For those of you that had students attend our New York City trip, this is very similar. We have a registered nurse who accompanies on the trip. She is going to make sure that she hands out all the medication that is prescription medicine for the students. Students are then responsible on their own for over-the-counter medicine. And you will have the opportunity to meet the nurse at our parent meeting in March. And you can talk to her about any concerns that your kids may have. Chaperones in groups. Each group or room will have 4 for each room. All the chaperones on the trip are high school staff. We are not entirely sure who those chaperones are going to be yet. Also kind of depends on how many kids are going on the trip and how many chaperones the travel agent will pay for based on those numbers. Each chaperone has between 3 and 5 rooms that they're responsible for. So that's anywhere from 12 up to 20 kids. Students stay in touch with their chaperone via phones. We have a big group list, a remind session that will go out so kids can also ask questions that way. So we're always just a text message away from being in touch with your child. The travel agent that we deal with, we've been working with them for over 30 years. They're going to be handling all the payments. They have that web portal that everybody who so far has signed up with has made a payment on. The payments, if you can attach it to your checking account, it's completely free for them to take the money out. But if you're using a credit card, they do have a 2.9% fee, which is exactly what the credit card company charges. They also handle all of the cancellations. So in the past, we might have been able to work something out with if a kid cancels, we can find somebody else to take their place. They may be able to work with us, but when you're signing up, you should definitely read over what the cancellation rules are as far as how much money you will be getting back, if any. But it depends on how late you cancel or not. They also have an outside company they deal with for travel insurance. They have one they recommend. You're free to go with another one. And you can have a type of cancellation insurance that will allow you to cancel at any time for any reason. So in the past, we've only had this really for if students a spring athlete and they're worried that they were going to miss playoffs. The trip is early enough this year that it should not interfere with playoffs at all because the playoffs are in May and our trip is in April. But if you're worried about anything else, travel insurance may be something you want to think about. The online portal that you have through the travel agent, there's going to be monthly payments of $300. It's going to be due the 15th of each month, starting with September 15th. There's also a link within the portal that you can send to families, family, friends, or whoever else might want to make a contribution or donation to your child's trip. So something maybe to do before Christmas, Hanukkah, any of the holidays, and they want birthdays, if you want to make a contribution, there's a nice, easy way to do that. I did get an email about promo codes. On the web portal, there is an option for a promo code. The travel agent sent me a special promo code that would allow me to test out if the online portal worked and not charge me anything. But it was just as for like a demo purpose. That's the only promo code I know of. There are no discount codes. If there was a discount, we'd make sure everybody was getting it. So sorry about that. There's a code of conduct when you sign up and you make your deposit. You can fill out that form online. We asked the students about it, and some of them had not read the code of conduct. Just making sure you read ahead of time. There is the criteria that they must be a senior to attend the trip. That means your child must have obtained 17 credits so far. They're officially a senior. And there's also in that code of conduct a statement that if there's continued behavior or discipline problems during the senior year, a student can be removed from the trip. If that were to happen to anybody, our assistant principal, Mrs. Kopstick, would definitely be in touch with you well in advance. There would be a meeting about it. It wouldn't be something that would just be sprung on you. But wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. If the student was removed from the trip, you would be at your own cost. So whatever insurance policy you have or whatever payments or whatever at the time of the cancellation, we would have to figure all that out. Time for a Q&A. Does anybody have any questions? You can put anything in the group chat if you'd like. Tried to cover as much as I could without going into extreme detail. Hopefully those of you that have signed up feel a little bit more comfortable with the trip and what we've done so far. Ms. Nahara, Ms. Howell, and I, and Ms. Kopstick were all on the New York City trip. Kids seem to have a really good time. We're hoping to continue that experience for them at some good times. Question in the group chat. First question. All right. When is a good time to buy meal tickets? The meal tickets are available up until, I want to say, December 1st, it might be. I think it's all before the new year. So you can buy them at any time, but we're going to be having meetings with the students and going over those and make sure that you want to buy them as early as possible. We'll give everybody advanced warnings in the future. Are there any other questions? All right, well, if anybody does have any questions, our contact information is available on the class website. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any concerns or questions, but thank you for joining us tonight. Have a good night.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to say something. Sorry, Mr. Trash.
That's fine.
If you're on the fence and it's like, oh, we've been to Disney, or the kids are like, oh, I've been to Disney, I think it's just a really great trip. You know, I'm not like a huge Disney person, but I think it's just a really good opportunity for the kids to be independent. Like, they have some freedom within reason, and they all feel like really grown, and it kind of gets them ready to go off on their own. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in as a parent also. Oh, we're getting some,
Yeah.
how can they check the student balances, Mr. Treasurer?
If your child has raised money, and Spyback, I know that your boys have, they can go on their Google Drive, and in the folder that says shared with me, there's a document that is shared with them. I'll reach out to you by email and send you the link again for your boys, so you can check that out personally. But any student that has fundraised does have that link, and as soon as that was set up, I usually emailed all the parents right away. See, here's the link. You can check it at any time. So it's just a Google spreadsheet. You can check that out, and all the information's there. All right. I'm going to start to wrap it up again and wait for another question to pop up. But if not, thank you everybody for your time. Any other questions, feel free to shoot us an email. Thanks so much.